Question 12. Here we're trying to prove that 2x squared plus 4x plus 9 is positive for all values of x, and it's suggesting we use in the completed square method to help us do this. Okay, so let's start by completing the square for the expression then. So first thing to do is to take out the 2 to help us with the completed square method then. So 2 times x squared would get us to 2x squared, 2 times 2x would get us back to the 4x we needed, and then in the way I do it, I then just close the bracket at that stage and then just copy down the plus 9. So the number at the end is nothing to do with then the factor of 2 here. I've just taken out the 2 from the x bits. Okay. Now we're ready to do the completing the square step, as it were, on the inside of that bracket. So the way I do it, I would set up my structure of the bits that are not going to change in this line of working out. So the 2 is not going to change. We're going to have some rectangular brackets with something on the inside, and then we're going to have the plus 9. Now the something on the inside is the important bit. We have x squared plus 2x, and we need to complete the square for this bit. So that's going to entail going into normal brackets squared and then subtracting something. Okay, and the standard format here is x plus half b, i.e. half of that 2. So half of 2 is 1, so that goes into there. And then whatever digit we have here, we are going to subtract that digit squared, and that will ensure that when the whole thing is multiplied out and then that minus 1 squared is taken into account, we get back to x squared plus 2x. Okay, so then at that stage we are ready to then expand back through by this 2 here. So 2 times by the bracket squared is just left as 2 times the bracket squared. 2 times by negative 1 squared. Well, negative 1 squared is just 1. Negative times by the positive 2, so it'll be a negative. 2 times the 1 is 2. And then copy down plus 9. Okay, and finally just tidy it up. Minus 2 plus 9 is plus 7. Okay, so that's sort of part-way answer. So that is our completed square form for 2x squared plus 4x plus 9. Now, what we're trying to do is use this form to then demonstrate that the expression must always be positive for any value of x. Now, if you consider the bracket squared for a minute, any number squared will always be positive. So for example, minus 3 squared is minus times minus, makes plus 9. Okay, similarly minus 1 squared, the minus times minus makes a plus, so it's plus 1. So the smallest possible value of a square number is actually 0. So 0 squared is 0. Any other squared number will be positive. So x plus 1 all squared will be greater than or equal to 0, regardless of what x is. Now, that's not the finished version, of course, of what we've got here. That's just part of it. That has then been multiplied by 2. So if that was multiplied by 2 there, then we would multiply the right hand side by 2 in our sort of inequality we've set up then. So 0 times by 2, so 0. So 2 times x plus 1 all squared, it's got to be greater than or equal to 0. However, then we are then going to add 7 to it to make this expression equivalent to what we've got there. So add the 7, but that means adding it to both sides. So we've added it to the left, we need to add it to the right. So the 0 plus 7 is then 7. Okay, and 7 is obviously positive, and so what we're saying is that this is always greater than or equal to 7, and if it's greater than or equal to 7, it must always be positive. Okay, so therefore our original expression has been proven to be positive okay, for all values of x.